There's only one Fantastic Negrito in the world, and you are watching AMBY.
Hey everyone, it's Alicia from AMBY, and I would like to welcome you to our interview with Fantastic Negrito. Hello.
Thank you very much for having me.
Thank you for joining me today on this lovely rooftop in Toronto.
It is a lovely rooftop, and look, we're in Toronto.
I know you've been in the city for about a day now, because I know you caught some sushi last night. So how's your time been so far?
It's been great. You know, it's a very international city. It's robust and kind of a rolling metropolis. I like it. And I've toured a bunch of other cities in Canada, and this one feels very different.
How does it feel different to you?
It's kind of a big shot city. It feels like, oh, this is the New York of Canada, the New York of Canada. Look out.
The other day you tweeted something that really caught my eye, and you had said, going through the tweets. It was, the road life is sometimes tough. It's hard to sleep after such high energy shows. So how do you make use or make good of those tough times?
Drugs. No, I'm just kidding. I'm joking. There's no drugs. I'm really quite boring. I got yelled at in France, in Paris, because after a show I was sipping tea. And they're like, you do not drink tea in France. They wanted me to drink wine.
Okay.
I don't know. It's hard to get to sleep after shows. I think that's a tough time that we entertainers have, especially me being such an exhibitionist, such a recovering narcissist. Where I get so fired up, and there's the stage, and it's me, and then you go back to the hotel, and it's lonely.
You mentioned a few times that you are a recovering narcissist.
I am.
You are.
I own up to it, because the only way that you can ever recover from your bullshit, can I say bullshit?
You can.
Bullshit is to face it, and you become happier, and the people around you become happier. And so that was my lifelong battle, is being an extreme narcissist. But I'm the 8th of 14 kids, so I really wanted to feel important, and
you had to fight for that spot.
Oh my God! And that's a whole nother interview.
Next time you're through, we'll talk all about that. Fighting
all about
to
that.
Be noticed.
As long as it's about me, it's okay. See, I'm kidding, Canada. Damn.
Well, it's also an exciting time because The Last Days of Oakland is officially out. Congratulations.
It is out. We're very excited about that. It was number 4 on Billboard, if
Congrats
I may brag.
On that.
Number 4, not 5, 4.
4. And
that was great. The people are my record company. I always say that people support what I'm doing, and it feels great because it's like in the other 2 incarnations of myself as an artist, I always felt like I was looking for something. I wanted something, but as Fantastic Negrito, I've kind of learned that it's more about contributing. It's more about giving something, and so that makes this very exciting and fulfilling for me to be a contributing artist, like to the human family, because we need it.
I love that whole life 1, life 2, and then Fantastic Negrito being life 3.
It is. I mean, there's no other way to put it. I mean, you go and number 1, I get into an accident, I mangle my playing hand, and everything happened, So this is number 3, and it's never too late because I quit in number 2, and I didn't play music for 5 years, so there's always a chance.
Well, I wasn't going to get into this, but you mentioned we're into the different lives. I know a big part of why you started playing music once again was because of your son.
I did, because I had a son. I decided that I'd quit music, give it up. I sold all of my equipment and moved out of Los Angeles, moved back home to Oakland. I thought my life now, I'll have kids and I'll grow lots of weed. And that's what I did. And but then when I had the kid, one day I couldn't put him to sleep, and I had one really bad guitar that I just had stashed underneath the couch, and he was acting very moody and not very cooperative. And I thought, well, I picked up the guitar and I played like a G major, and it was like magic. Like the room exploded.
Aww.
And I was like, what's happening here? This is crazy. It's just a G major, but he couldn't speak, but he was just so excited because he really was telling me that, hey, music is the language of humanity, and if you have a message, it's really your obligation to share it with the human family. And so that's what happened. And now I'm on the road, and now I don't see that kid. You see, man? You can't have it all.
I know that the title for the record, a lot of it came from traveling and seeing and all the changes, different things in different cities.
You've done your homework, haven't you?
For you, what were some of those changes that you saw while on the road?
On the road in big cities in the United States, I'd say everywhere. Like driving in today, I'm driving into Toronto. I'm like, what are all those condos doing there? It's like condos everywhere. It's like, how many more condos could you put there?
Not many.
Not many. You have to move into the tower over there. I'll live in the tower. But change it to FN Tower. Oh, okay.
Ooh.
So, yeah, you just notice that, artists can't really afford to live in Manhattan or even Brooklyn now. And artists are being pushed out of Oakland and they're gone from San Francisco. And I just don't think that that's sustainable. I think that you have to remember what made the city cool. Like, why did you want to move to Oakland? Because someone, blood, sweat, and tears and effort, made it a cool city. And if you move them all out, it's not going to be cool anymore. It's just going to be stiff, and there'll be lots of coffee shops and bars. But a lot of, great art and great music and film comes out of struggle. And struggle is okay.
Well, you recently shared a beautiful new video, and you said that the video is about the current state of gun violence in the U.S. And when I watched it, I couldn't help but get choked up watching it, because you were emotional in it. The whole story behind it is just incredible. So what was it like putting such an emotional piece together?
Well, the video you're talking about is called In the Pines, and I wrote it because, the community that I came from, there weren't a lot of fathers. There was a lot of single mothers, and the single mothers had to do everything, including, bury the children. Like, I lost a 14-year-old brother, 16-year-old cousin, a very good friend growing up, and that was traumatic. But I always looked around, and I looked at the faces of the women, and they held the whole fabric of the society together. And I wanted to speak on that, and I wanted to acknowledge that, and dedicate that to my mother and all women of the world who hold it all together when we men mess it up.
Well, I loved learning that you came across learning how to play piano by sneaking in to Berkeley.
I'm pretty sneaky. Watch out.
You have to tell me about that. Did you ever get caught? Because actually, you used to dress up, pretend you were one of the students.
Just like that.
One of the students.
The students were all like this. We're students.
Hey, that was me showing you being slick. That's like my slick movement.
Yeah, no, but the students were a little bit stiffer back then, yeah. I wanted to play, and the school that I went to had really talented musicians, like Joshua Redman. I don't know if you know who that guy is, but he was my classmate. So these people were phenomenal geniuses on their upright basses and saxophones and pianos, and I was terrible. And I tried to play one day, and I think the jazz instructor, he's like, "Get off that." It's like, "You sound terrible."
Really?
Yeah.
How did that feel?
I'm used to it. It was all right. I was used to it by that time in my life, but that's for another interview. And so I thought, well, how can I outsmart everybody again? I thought I will sneak into UC Berkeley, University of California at Berkeley, and they had these piano rooms, and I would just sit there and I'd listen to all these rich students, and they just practice scales. So I thought, well, I'll practice scales, and I figured out that, you could play a scale on every key, and that was kind of the beginning of my musical education.
That's awesome.
I guess. It didn't seem that awesome at the time, but I guess it's awesome.
Hey, it paid off.
Paid off. I mean, look at these shoes. Yeah.
Well, seeing that I have you here and we're both big Prince fans, I know you've met him a couple of times.
Well, I'm a bigger Prince fan. Taller.
Yes, you are.
Yes, that's right.
You must tell me about one of your encounters.
I've had a couple encounters with Prince. Once was in the 90s at Paisley Park. I was signed to his former manager, and I had his road manager, doing the whole tour with me back in Interscope days, and just went to Paisley Park, and he's very quiet. I mean, maybe he didn't like me, I don't know. He's very quiet and very nice. And that day, and he was quite masculine and all that, you know, kind of androgynous way. He was really quite masculine, and he was playing the bass. That's what was interesting. I was like, you don't think that he plays the bass, but he was just sitting there just playing the bass. He's coming over and he's messing with the monitors, and he was very nice. And his wife then, Maite, that was the first time officially that I'd met him. And the rest of the Revolution, although they weren't together, I'd met like Matt Fink and Bobby Z, all those guys, and got to hang out with them. But the second time was strange because it was 2 a.m. in about 3 a.m. probably in Los Angeles, and I was doing what I shouldn't be doing as usual. And I stopped at the 24-hour newsstand on Cahuenga and Hollywood Boulevard. Do you know where that is?
I do not.
No, okay. So I'm just there, you know, checking out stuff, taking a break from doing what I shouldn't been doing. And this like Benz limousine pulls up. This big brother jumps out, and I'm like, well, he must be in the NBA. But then he opens the door, and then this little brother comes out, and I go, oh, hey, how you doing? And that was our second encounter, and that's the last time that I saw him.
Yeah.
But he was always very kind.
I appreciate you sharing those.
Thank you.
Let's wrap everything up today. Is there anything you want to leave with all of your fans who are going to be viewing the interview?
Well, I would just like to say to anyone that supports myself and my habits that thank you very much, that I cannot do it without you, and I look forward to continuing the relationship and having more dates.
I just want to say thank you so much for your time today. Just bring it in. I really appreciate it.
Hugs.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. And remember, to everybody viewing, you can visit us at musicblogger.com for all exclusive interviews, features, videos, and so much more with your favorite artists. We'll see you next time.